Hi, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Business. If you're new here, my name is Sofia Bernardi, and I help online coaches and service-based business owners to start, grow, and spaciously scale their coaching business to 30K months and beyond. I'm so happy to be back here in my little homemade podcast studio. I've got my beautiful plants. I'm all cozy. It's a Sunday afternoon and I'm here recording this episode for you. The sun is out. I've been for a beautiful walk with my man. This morning we went to the markets. We've had a nap. We pondered around the house, and then I realized I don't have any more podcast episodes left. So I thought I'm going to come in here and chat with you guys, and I'm really excited to do so. Now, if you're watching me on YouTube or the video version, you might see that the camera sometimes moves around, which I'm still getting used to. I just bought this new camera for my computer, and it's kind of cool because it follows you around, which I can imagine is a little bit annoying in certain circumstances, like maybe on Zoom, but it's not doing it too much, which I actually really like. But I'm just going to test moving over and see what happens. Oh my God, it does a really good job. I'm so happy. Okay, anyways, I just had to test that out as I literally just turned it on for the first time. So I've got my little cup of tea that Geordie made for me, and we're going to dive into this episode because this is going to be a bit of a raw and a vulnerable one, but we'll start with a massive win, and that is I am celebrating a $225,000 like cash month. Where are my words? Yes, 225,000, which is kind of crazy. It was 1 year ago that I hit my first $100,000 cash month, and so to see that in 12 months, pretty much, that we have more than doubled it, and we're heading towards $250,000 a month at this point, is kind of wild. And who knows where we'll be in another year's time. So celebrating our biggest month, we've pretty much had our biggest month back to back every single month this year, which is insane to say that it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And this one has been the biggest emotionally as well as our biggest cash month. And that is what I want to share with you guys today, is kind of like the other side that you don't see to these amazing wins that you might hear certain coaches or business owners talk about, because it's all well and good to bring that amount of money in, but you also need to know what comes with it and what it actually looks like holding it. Because I'm talking about this number as if it's a normal number, and I'm constantly trying to remind myself that it's absolutely not a normal number, even though it feels very normal to me now. Like, I have absolutely regulated to it, but I fully appreciate that most people never see the light of day of this amount in a 12-month period or even a 2-year period. And I'm, having it in a 30-day period. So I'm super grateful for it. I celebrated it. I'm not at the point where I'm not celebrating my wins. I absolutely am. I'm so grateful for it. I always celebrate with my partner, Geordie, first, and then I celebrate with my whole team before I celebrate with anyone else, as it's always just so special. And the reality is that I couldn't do it without my partner, and I couldn't do it without my team either. So that is why I love to celebrate with them, because it is just so special, and they absolutely are a big reason as to why this happens to begin with. So very grateful to my virtual assistant, Veda. Very grateful for my ads manager, Ethan. I'm so grateful for my sales closers, Claudia and Shannon. And I'm so grateful for my setters in my team. And I'm grateful for my support coach, Simone. And I'm so grateful for my clients, because if they didn't believe in me and the scalable system, which is what I teach, then, we wouldn't be celebrating this milestone either. So at the end of the day, I'm grateful for so many people, as I just couldn't do it without any of them. So celebrating the biggest month, but if I'm being completely honest with you, it's also been the hardest month. And I'm talking about June 2026, by the way. We are now a few days into July, new financial year, new beginnings, very exciting. But yes, it was my hardest month ever, just faced with so many challenges. And I feel like life goes in seasons, right? Like, there will be some, months or seasons where everything's good and everything's great and everything feels amazing. There will be some, months or seasons in your life where everything just feels hard and horrible and, just the complete opposite of great. And then there will be some seasons where you are just throwing a 50-50 mix of both, and that is really what happened. There is, yes, so much to be grateful for. I've got a clear calendar most days of the week. I've got the world's best team. I've got a lot of freedom. I've got, the best life. I'm in the most incredible home right now. I've got the best partner I could ever ask for, the most amazing friends and family. Like, I literally could just sit here and talk for hours about how grateful I am about so many things. But I was also throwing a lot of challenges this month. So I had to let go of a team member who is an amazing person, but he's just young and was really underperforming and dropped the ball massively. So like letting go of someone for the first time is properly, was really hard. But I had to do that, and I can see how that cost the business a lot of money, to be honest. And had I had made a decision much faster, how that would have presented a fair bit of stress for me and my team, to be honest. So, that was a challenge. I also hired a videographer for the first time to do that a couple of times a month. And I did it for the first time, a few weeks ago. And unfortunately, her microphone stopped working for half of the videos and we didn't realize. And so went to all of that effort and, only for it to not have worked, and I remember just being at my wit's end that day of like just having had a really hard few days. And that was just like the cherry on top, and it was devastating. And I had to deal with a couple of client issues as well, really hard conversations. And I even had to let go of a client, and that is a story that all of my clients know and a lot of the closest people in my life know. It was wild, to say the least. I'm going to refrain from saying the story here for now. But yeah, I was basically blindsided, to say the least, and had to, put my community first, put myself first and my business first, and let go of someone that, would have been really, really damaging to the space. And these were all firsts for me. I hadn't navigated these things before, and I was thrown into the mix of that, having to deal with that. And there was just a whole bunch of other things. Like, honestly, I preach spacious scaling, and I feel really in integrity with that, because I help coaches and service providers to scale to a minimum of 30K months. And when I was at 30K months, my calendar was mostly clear. And when I was at 50K months, my calendar was mostly clear. And even at 100K months, to be honest, for the most part, most of the time it was. Then something has definitely shifted at this $200,000 mark for sure. And I think I just kept telling myself I could hold it. It was fine. It was easy. And I think it really, in the last month, really started to catch up on me that I was really holding a lot. Like, it just sometimes can feel like a lot as a business owner to have to make so many decisions, hold so much space for so many people, both team and clients. And it just like kind of came up on me, and I was like, wow, I need to delegate more. I need more support. My calendar is starting to fill up again. And that just means you have to delegate. Like, a lot of people think, like, you talk about spacious scaling, like that shouldn't be happening. But actually, of course, it's going to happen. If your business grows or doubles, of course, capacity is taken up. And that's where you have to continue to delegate and outsource in order to continue to have your calendar be clear. And, I just like let it pile up, and all of a sudden my calendar was starting to get full again in this season. And that's okay. It's a season. It's normal. But it just started to feel like a lot. I'm like trying to manage this bigger team, all of these clients, doing sales calls, doing the marketing, trying to up my organic content, and I've got a podcast and YouTube channel and all of the things, and it just suddenly felt like a lot. So June was a really big month energetically, emotionally, time-wise, and financially. So yeah, it was huge. It was so good in so many ways and so hard in so many ways. But the thing that like kind of got me through it and made it okay was I was telling myself that, I'm putting in the hard yards now for a better July, August, September, October, November, December, like I just knew that it was one of those months where you almost take a step back to take a step forwards, or take 3 steps forward, should I say. So I was redoing SOPs. I was doing a big declutter and organization of the back end of my business. I was improving the curriculum for my clients because I have a really high standard of what I want that to be like. Like, I just went through this major season of like simplifying massively, and naturally there was a lot of workload that I put on myself in order to do that. So that was a little bit of a random intro to my update, and I sort of started to get into the lessons, but that's really what this episode is the lessons behind a $225,000 cash month. So I kind of want to talk about 4 key things. I just sort of accidentally summarized a little bit of them just now, but that was just to summarize and give you a little bit of an update on like how I'm feeling. Like, yes, it was so amazing, and it was also one of the hardest months I've had in business as well. And I don't want you to correlate, like the lesson there is not that making a lot of money means it's hard and painful and exhausting. There might be seasons of that, but there's also seasons of that below 10K a month, at 30K a month, 50K a month, and every other number in between. Like, it's not correlated to the money 100%. Like, I've also had some of my biggest, most freest, most incredible months at my biggest months. So it's got nothing to do with that. I don't want you to walk away with a belief of like, oh, scaling to 200K months is not worth it, because it's definitely worth it. It's definitely the best season I've ever been in. It's just June in particular was really, really hard, and I'm so proud of myself of how I was a leader to my clients, honestly, to myself, to my team, and how I showed up despite it being so hard. Like, most people would have had no idea, and that's okay. And I'm actually glad about that. So, but I always love to be transparent and to share it. Sorry, if I keep pausing, I'm just so thirsty. I need another drink. Okay. So I'm going to get into 4 lessons that I really wanted to share with you behind my $225,000 a month, so that you know the benefits, the ups, the amazingness, but you also know the things that you need to be able to hold and be prepared for in order to help you get here sooner rather than later, if you're not already. So the first one is you have to be able to hold the duality that comes with big cash months. You have to be able to hold the duality. So like I said, some months will feel like sunshine and rainbows, some will feel like one big thunderstorm, and some will feel like the rainbow. There's the rain, there's the sun, there's the clouds, there's all of it. And you have to be able to hold both. If you are wanting to get to 10K a month, 30K a month, 50K a month, 100K a month, whatever it is, expecting or desiring or wanting it to be only good, and the moment one little or big inconvenient thing happens in your life or in your business, you can't handle it, and you know, just have a full meltdown, then you're not ready to be able to hold really big cash months, because you have to be able to hold all of it. You have to be able to hold client challenges, projections, people being unhappy with you, people, expressing disappointment in you. You have to be able to hold all of the ups and the downs, and that is absolutely what I was presented with in June. I was presented with a lot of challenges back to back to back. Like, some days I had really put out 8 fires before 9 a.m. And that's not what I usually experience, but that is what I did experience. And if I had given up, called it quits, written it all off, or catastrophized, or let my decisions come from a place of reactivity, there's a good chance we wouldn't have had the month that we did, to be honest with you. So you have to be able to hold it and actually to lean into it. I only just scratched the surface of some of the things that went quote unquote wrong, whether they were mistakes or failures or whatever, in June. Another one was I ran a free workshop. I run one pretty much every week to generate new clients inside my business. And I ran one, and it's like the 25th time I've run this exact same workshop, minus a few little tweaks, right? And I must have maybe not been in the best energetic headspace because of all the stresses and pressure and things going on at the moment in the business, that I wasn't on my A game. And so despite it being the same slides as usual, the same everything as usual, I actually got a fair bit of hate in the comments. Obviously, the positives far outweighed the negatives in terms of the comments. Like, I got my usual, people messaging me saying that's the best workshop I've ever watched, and people thanking me and being so grateful and booking calls and then becoming clients and all of the things. Like, I absolutely experienced that, but I don't usually get hate alongside it. And I did this time. People telling me I'm autistic, on the spectrum, have ADHD, talk too fast, too robotic, too salesy, all of these things. And mind you, 99% of the time, the comment I'm getting from people is that that it's the opposite of salesy. Like, it's refreshing that it's actually valuable, but for whatever reason on this workshop, I just got all of these rude comments. And again, I had to smile. In fact, I called my team while I was FaceTiming them and we were just laughing. Like, if you don't laugh, you'll cry, right? So I actually didn't take offense to it. That's also why I feel confident sharing it with you guys. It's why I, share it with my clients and all of the things. So it's not an issue, but it was just like, the cherry on top of like the list of problems that I was facing. And there's honestly a few more that I just won't bore you with. And so I had to deal with all of that alongside holding the positivity and the amazingness. And I will also be honest and share that some of these things I chose to put myself in. Like, I didn't have to redo the entire curriculum for Scale School, but I chose to because I have a high standard for it. I didn't have to organize the back end of my business and spend all of this time redoing my website and decluttering and clearing things out and moving things to different locations to simplify and improve. Like, I didn't have to do those things. I chose to do those things. And so I absolutely contributed to why my calendar was much fuller and why I was much more busy and why I was much more stressed. But the personality type I have is once I've set my mind to something, I just have to do it, and I don't sleep well until I do it. And I'm just like a projects-based person. My friend actually reflected this to me and helped me see this, that I work really well in projects. So if I've got just tasks there, I'm terrible at doing them. But if I have a project, I'm like obsessive and it's all I work on until I get it done. And I just love operating that way. But it also just means that I have a little season, whether that's a day or a week or a few weeks or a month of like busyness, because I just can't do anything other than complete the task, which I love it personally, but it just means that sometimes there's a lot more work. So, I chose some of that and I fully own that and embraced that. But lesson number one is you have to be able to hold the duality that comes with big cash months. So if you want to get to your goal, you have to be able to hold equal parts of the opposite of that, because there will be moments or seasons where that happens. So that's lesson number one. And I want to share that with you because I remember having really unhealthy expectations in the beginning of business that business was meant to look a certain way, or because I compared myself to other people online where you only see their highlight reel, that if my business or my brain wasn't feeling 100% like what I was seeing on social media, it meant that there was something messy or wrong about it, when actually it's not true. You just don't ever hear people be completely honest about the other parts of business. You just don't have anyone talk about it, to be honest with you. So you have to be able to hold the duality. Lesson one. Lesson number two is knowing your values makes decision making easier. So I was presented with a really serious situation just the other day where I had to make a big decision in my business. And it was genuinely a serious decision, but even though it was difficult to do, it was easy to make, if that makes sense. And it was easy to make because I know my values. I know what I value and what is important to me. And I quote unquote knew this, but then, when you actually experience it, that's when you fully embody it and know it. And I think, everyone loves to talk the talk. Everyone plays a big game or tells you, oh, I'm this type of person, I'm this type of person. But until you're actually put in a position where where decisions need to be made that's going to reflect that's where you truly know. Like, I don't care what anyone says, I care about what people do. And I was presented with a situation where I had an opportunity to really showcase where my values stood. And I got to experience so clearly the other day that there are three things in particular in business that I care about so much more than money, and my actions actually show that. Because a lot of people say, oh, community is everything, helping is everything, but their actions don't necessarily show that. Mine actually showed this, and I've never been so praised and complimented from my clients and the people in my life than I have this past week, to be honest with you. And it's simply because people got to see in real time where my values lied. So I won't tell you the situation, but I will tell you the three things that I value so much more than money. Number one is my clients. I actually genuinely prioritize my clients over money. And yeah, in this last week, it really showed. And I've had clients phone call me, voice message me, send me things, all the things out of love based on what they saw me do in this last few days. I've had clients reach out saying, I actually want to give you a testimonial now just based on what I witnessed from you in this last week. And I'm trying not to be like weird and not telling you the whole thing. It's just, I can't really do that. But all I'll say is my leadership was really shown. That's all. Anyways, so that was the first thing that I value more than money. The second thing is my sanity. I would happily say no to working with certain people or making a certain amount of money if it was going to cost me my sanity, my well-being, my peace of mind. I really care about my nervous system and how I feel and where I spend my time and my energy, especially at this stage of business where I've got a lot of moving parts in terms of bigger team, more clients, more this and that, and a personal life that I deeply care about and love. And I love having a clear calendar. I love having spaciousness. I love having freedom. I love having just space in general. And that only becomes more and more important to me as time goes on. So I'd be willing to turn down people and money and certain things if it was to cost me my sanity in any way, shape or form. So there's that. And then the third thing that I value more than money is my team. I actually get more excited when my team make money than when I do these days. I get excited to pay them lots of money because it means they're contributing massively. So this is not a conversation about do I love money or do I value money. I deeply, deeply do. And if you don't care about money, money won't care about you. It's like, imagine if you said, I don't care about my partner. Like, how do you think that relationship's going to go? If I said, I don't care about my house, like, do you think I'm going to look after it? No. So of course you have to love money, otherwise money will not love you. Like, money is simply energy, and what you get is a direct correlation of the impact and the value that you provide. So, I do care about money, but there are just some things that I care about more than money. And that is my team. They are the best, and I love giving them money because it means, yes, I'm making a lot more money, but it just fulfills me so much. And I go to great lengths in terms of investing in my teams, like education or them having support or them upgrading their skill set. So even if they weren't to work with me in the future, that would significantly benefit them in the future with wherever else they go next. Like, I care about that and I'm willing to invest in that. And I think if you don't go above and beyond for your team, they're not going to go above and beyond for you either. So I love to do so and give generously. And like I said, my actions reflect that. So I guess my lesson for you in this is know your values, figure out what you value, because, there is a direct correlation with your speed to making decisions and acting on things. And if you are slow, there are consequences with that in terms of how long it takes you to get results and all sorts of other things that I don't need to go on about. But my point is you need to be a good decision maker and a faster decision maker. And I have just realized in this last week that the best way to be the best and fastest decision maker is to simply know your values. Because if you know your values, you are just able to make decisions in alignment with them, and then you're going to feel good and you're going to get the outcome that you actually want. So figure out what you value. What are your top values? And I think there's a difference between personal values and business values, and you can have both and you should know both. But I know what I value, and making sure that my decisions are in alignment with that makes me sleep well at night. So that is the second lesson. Now, the third lesson is delegating will be your best friend. Like I said, I'm in a season where time is money. Time is so precious. I've been in a really busy and full season this last month, and that has meant that I need to be so mindful of my time between Monday and Friday for sure. I need to be so mindful and intentional of it. I'm actually getting my time back now. Because of the decisions I've made in the last month. I've actually cleared 2 days a week where no one can book a call with me whatsoever. So to have 2 weekdays where no one can book a call is just amazing because it gives me space to create and build amazing things for my clients and still support my clients, but just not on calls. And that's felt really good. So like I said, I made 101 decisions in the month of June for sure. But delegating will truly be your best friend. So even though I've got my time back, I've got my time back because I'm delegating, to be honest with you. So I realized whoa, I'm doing a lot of sales calls. Even though I had delegated half the sales calls to a sales closer, Claudia, who's amazing, we have been getting busier and busier every month, that even despite having her, my calendar still got full again. And so instead of me complaining about it and constantly telling my partner oh, so busy, got another call, I did something about it and I hired another sales closer. And instead of me training her up, I paid my sales coach a lot of money to train her up. And she just literally closed 5 clients in the last 24 hours. She's an absolute weapon, but because she absolutely came in with the skill set, but not heaps of experience. And I didn't want to wait for her to go get that experience with me. I wanted her to, do such a great job for her sake, but also for mine straight away. And I didn't feel like I had capacity to do it. So I paid my sales coach a lot of money to do it instead. So delegating will be your best friend. And I'm going to be honest with you, when I received the invoice from my sales coach, I'm like, oof, that is a lot of money. And even though I could see the value of it and I knew what it was, it still felt like a lot of money. But I did it because you've got to make quick decisions. You've got to make decisions that align with where you want to go, not with where you are now. And I trusted him and I trusted it. And I am big on investing in myself even before I'm ready, because I'm making decisions based on where I want to go. And so I did so, and man, has it paid off really quickly, because not only did I not have to invest the time in training and watching calls and giving feedback to my new sales closer, but it just meant that she was making money much faster. And she's so good that I've actually decided I'm going to 100% step away from sales calls now. And this will be my first week where I actually tell my ads manager to make sure that the calls don't get booked on my calendar this week. And I am so excited I could cry. Again, not because I don't want to do sales calls. I love sales and I love sales calls and I love calls, guys. It's just that when you're a human being, you can only do so many. You can only do so much, and I hit my capacity, and I'm sick of hitting my capacity because it means I can't grow further, which means my team is capped, my clients are capped with how much they get from me, and I want everyone to get a lot from me. And to do that, I have to be mindful of what hats I put on and where I spend my time. And knowing that I don't have to be the one doing the sales calls means I shouldn't, because then I can spend more of that time actually just helping my clients, which is where I'd rather spend my time. And I'm sure the people on the sales calls would rather that as well, because then they know if they join my program, they actually get me. Whereas a lot of people join a big group program and they do not get the head coach. Whereas I want to forever be coaching because I love it. And so I want to delegate all the things that I don't need to do. And I think I used to have a belief that I have to do the sales calls, but we analyzed the data, or should I say my sales coach analyzed the data now that I've brought him in so much more. And he saw very quickly that their close rate can be is just as good as mine almost. And so I was like, cool, I don't need to do this then. See you later. So I'm not doing it anymore. So delegating will 100% be your best friend. Do it before you're ready. Still be intentional with it. Don't be dumb, obviously. But, trust yourself, back yourself. You know what you can commit to. And I knew I could commit to the decisions I've made in terms of giving my team more, so long as it's in alignment and, that you have the money there, obviously, then definitely do it, because you got to look at not what it costs you, but what do you gain from it. And I gained time, I gained energy, and we're getting more results, to be honest, because I wasn't operating at 100% trying to do all of the things that I was doing. So now I'm just in content creation. So my podcast / YouTube channel, my Instagram and ads, and then client delivery, and then a bit of team management, but I'm not alone in that. And behind the scenes, business strategy. I love working on the business so much. It's so much fun. So yeah, that's where I am at. My goal would definitely be to get someone to fully manage the whole team, so I don't have to be involved in that at all one day. I love my team and I want to talk to them. I just don't want to be putting out fires or having to answer little questions, but I'm doing all sorts at the moment to improve our SOPs, so that's happening less and less, and that is successfully happening, and I'm so happy about it. But I want them to be as self-sufficient as possible and have support high quality for someone that's solely focusing on that, and that can't be me forever, but for now it's me in alignment with some of my other team. So yep, delegating will be your best friend. And now I'm just like, what else can I delegate? Who can I delegate to? And I'm just really leaning into that at the moment, which is so much fun. Now, the fourth thing that I want to share is sometimes you need to take a step back to propel forwards. Now, I don't feel by any means in the month of June that I took a step back because, like I said, we had our biggest month, but I definitely took a step back in terms of spaciousness. So I was working from 6 a.m. onwards and I was working till 6 o'clock at night. There were days where I didn't really go outside much. That's not healthy. I don't recommend that. And I usually do that. But I was just in a season where I was up early, I was up late, had some later nights for sure, lost some sleep some days. And I still went to the gym every day. I still hung out with my partner every day. I still spoke to my friends and family every day. Like, there are just some values that are non-negotiables, but some things did give. Like, I did sleep a little bit less certain nights, and I did work a little bit more, and I did have a bit more of a full calendar, and I was working hard, like harder than I usually do, but I was okay with it because it was a season, right? And I think this is what's really important to recognize here is there's going to be seasons. Not every month is going to look the exact same. And I embraced that and owned that, but then also did something about it. So this would be a problem if I was sitting here telling you, yep, had a really busy season, but I've done nothing about it to make it better. Like, I was fully aware that I'm working really hard now to have my future months be so much lighter. It's not every month that I'm updating my entire curriculum. It's not every month that I'm updating the SOPs and full ramping that and upgrading our tech and all of these things. Like, that's not happening very often at all. I might do those things once or twice a year. It's not every month that I'm organizing the back end of my business. And mind you, I'm already such an organized freak. I'm just like crazy about it. But I was just doing, like people do annual spring cleaning. It was like kind of like that, but for the back end of my business. Like, nothing was wrong. I just like went psycho and was like, how can I make it even better? I just went through one of those creative seasons where I had a million ideas and I was executing on all of them and I was loving it, but it kind of felt like I was taking a step back in terms of that spaciousness. But now I feel like literally as of this week onwards, I'm going to be twiddling my thumbs a little bit because I'm not going to be doing the sales calls and I'm going to have so much more capacity, I believe. Obviously, you never know what's thrown at you, but that is where I'm at with all of that. And sometimes you have to be willing to take a step back to take 3 steps forwards. And that's what I felt like I did without stopping the business. Like, like I said, we had our biggest month, but I still took a step back in terms of my time and energy and things like that. But now I'm able to move forwards. So that is what I wanted to share with you. They are the 4 lessons behind my $225,000 month. So just to summarize, the 4 lessons are: you have to be able to hold the duality that comes with big cash months. Knowing your values makes decision making easier. Delegating will be your best friend, and sometimes you need to take a step back to propel forwards. So I hope that one or more of these lessons resonated with you. If they did, please come let me know on Instagram. I'm at Sofia Rose Bernardi. I would love to hear your biggest takeaway, your lesson, your learning here. As long as you took something away, I'm very happy. I just want to say again a big thank you to my clients, to my team, to my friends, and to my family. You have held so much space for me in the last week, and I've had so much support and love around me the last month. My partner has made me endless cups of teas and fed me and cleaned the house and done all of the things so I could spend every extra moment working and sorting out things and whatever. And I'm just so grateful for that. It really does take a tribe. We have cleaners that come every 2 weeks, and I've just been outsourcing more and more in my life, like people editing my content, people filming my content, people doing these things for me, because I have needed it and I have wanted it, and it's been a game changer, and I'm just so grateful. So I love you all. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in next week's episode.